The Crown on Netflix is one of my all-time favorite shows. However, after watching the most recent season, Season 5, has the show lost some of what made it great? Hey guys, thanks for checking out this channel. If you're new here, please consider subscribing below. We put out new videos every single week, video essays, day in the life videos, and reviews just like this. Now, I love pretty much everything that's associated with the United Kingdom. I'll watch any documentary on the royal family. I order British candy. I went to England one time, and it was one of my favorite trips I've ever been on. Consequently, the first time I ever went to England, the first season of The Crown had just come out. The first two seasons of The Crown are some of my favorite episodes in all of TV history. The casting was so well done. Every scene had this atmosphere. The characters did so much with so little, and then did even more with complex issues. The combination of the Queen, played by Claire Foy, and Prince Philip, played by Matt Smith, became one of my all-time favorite TV couples. I mean, they didn't have the Pam and Jim thing from The Office, and it wasn't that kind of love story, but I think that's why I liked it so much. The first two seasons also introduced one of my all-time favorite TV characters, Tommy Lascelles.
And I will take a lecture on national embarrassment from many people, sir, but not from you.
He was the cranky old-timer who stood by traditions and values for an era that was increasingly passing him by. The way the series portrayed him, it was possible that nobody else shaped Queen Elizabeth's reign quite like Tommy Lascelles. Now, seasons 3 and 4, despite there being a longer gap in between them, there were really well-developed stories, and there was still plenty of Queen and Prince Philip, as well as Princess Margaret, and all the other characters we came to love in the first two seasons. We even got a small flashback to Tommy Lascelles. As we got closer to the end of season 4, I was worried it was about to become the Diana show. So as somebody who's followed the royal family, and as someone who's seen pretty much every documentary about them, I've seen more Diana than any other member of the royal family. And not that that's a bad thing, but for me, the reason I enjoyed The Crown so much was seeing the rise of the Queen and how she became who she is, and learning things, even if they were exaggerated, that I hadn't seen in other films. For me, Diana's story had been covered ad nauseum, and there was really nothing I didn't know about it. When season 5 rolled around, my fears came to realization. It was fully the Diana and Charles show. So I've only watched season 5 one time, but I have to go back. But if my memory serves me correct, the first 3 to 4 episodes featured the Queen like less than 10 minutes total, or at least it felt like that. Now, season 5 still had its bright spots for me, including Mohammed Al Fayed. I just wish it didn't come at the expense of seeing the Queen so infrequently, especially on a show called The Crown. It was almost as though her worst issue during that 10-year run was the loss of her yacht, which I don't know about you, but that's not something I can really relate to. Even the divorce of Charles and Diana didn't seem to affect the Queen. The fire was kind of glossed over, and while the show has always taken liberties with history, altering one of her most famous speeches right after the fire, it seemed to turn a lot of fans off to the series. The most troubling for me was this imagined back and forth fight between Charles and Diana, where they kind of make up and then kind of go back to fighting. It reminded me of those TV shows where they do the thing with John Lennon and Paul McCartney and they imagine what this fictitious conversation would have been like. It feels like they're trying to coddle the viewer instead of letting the facts hit us in the face. And maybe that makes for better TV, but I know for me, it's a big turnoff. I like to know the facts and the details, and I'm okay if you exaggerate a little bit, but factoring these imaginary conversations, I'm just not a fan. I don't know where they plan to take The Crown for season 6, the final season for one of my favorite TV shows. I'd love to revisit the original cast and see some of them, and season 1 and 2 cast, season 3 and 4 cast as time allows, and if the story dictates. How do you think they should end it? And what did you think of season 5? Was it their best season? Was it their worst season? Was it somewhere in between? Let me know in the comments below. I'm curious to see what everybody thought. Thanks for checking out this video, and I'll see you next week.